Hello riders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive deep into one of the most legendary superbikes in the world, the Yamaha YZF R1. This motorcycle is not just a machine. It's a symbol of speed, precision, and cutting-edge racing technology brought directly from the MotoGP circuit to the streets. In this video, we're not only reviewing its specifications, but also experiencing firsthand what it feels like to ride this masterpiece. The Yamaha R1 has been the dream bike for so many enthusiasts, and through this test ride, you'll understand exactly why it continues to hold the crown as one of the kings of superbikes. Buckle up, because this will be a journey filled with adrenaline, passion, and the raw essence of racing. Let's start by looking back at its history. The Yamaha R1 first made its debut in 1998, a time when the superbike world was dominated by heavy, powerful machines that often sacrificed agility for brute force. Yamaha wanted to break the mold. Their vision was clear: build a motorcycle that was not only blisteringly fast, but also nimble, lightweight, and able to replicate the sensations of a race bike for the everyday rider. What they produced was the very first YZF R1, and it instantly set a new benchmark for the superbike class. Its radical design, aggressive ergonomics, and stunning power-to-weight ratio shook the industry. Riders across the globe knew immediately that Yamaha had created something extraordinary. From that very first generation, the R1 has undergone multiple evolutions. Each iteration pushed the boundaries of performance and design, adapting racing technologies into road-legal motorcycles. In the early 2000s, Yamaha introduced fuel injection, refining power delivery and efficiency. By 2004, the R1 took on a new, iconic look with its underseat exhausts that became a visual statement for sport bikes everywhere. But perhaps the most groundbreaking moment in R1 history came in 2009, when Yamaha introduced the cross-plane crankshaft engine, directly inspired by their MotoGP YZR M1. This innovation completely changed the way riders experienced superbikes. The cross-plane engine gave the R1 a unique character, linear torque delivery, improved traction, and a deep, growling exhaust note unlike anything else in its class. This was more than just evolution, it was revolution. Fast forward to today, and the latest Yamaha R1 embodies everything the brand has learned from decades of MotoGP dominance. From its aerodynamic bodywork to its electronics package, every inch of this motorcycle screams racing heritage. Looking at the design, the R1 is sharp, aggressive, and unapologetically built for speed. The front fairing has been sculpted in wind tunnels to reduce drag and maximize downforce at high speeds. Its twin LED headlights are slim and piercing, giving the bike a predator-like face. The fuel tank is shaped to allow riders to tuck in perfectly during high-speed runs, and the minimalist rear section emphasizes its race-ready persona. Sitting on an R1 doesn't feel like sitting on a road bike. It feels like gearing up for a MotoGP race. The heart of the R1 is its 998 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled, inline four-cylinder engine with the legendary cross-plane crankshaft. This engine configuration is the soul of the R1 and what sets it apart from the competition. Unlike conventional four-cylinder engines with even firing intervals, the cross-plane layout creates an irregular firing order, producing smooth and predictable power delivery. The result is more consistent traction, especially when accelerating hard out of corners. The numbers are staggering: over 200 horsepower, coupled with immense torque that kicks in across the rev range. But the magic lies not just in the raw figures, it's in how that power feels. Twist the throttle, and instead of an abrupt, peaky surge, you get a smooth, linear wave of acceleration that keeps building and building until you're hitting speeds that blur reality. And then there's the sound, that deep, resonant growl that can only come from a cross-plane engine. It's not a scream like most inline fours. It's a roar, a soundtrack that feels alive and intoxicating. Of course, no modern superbike would be complete without electronics, and Yamaha equips the R1 with some of the most advanced rider aids available. You've got multiple power modes, allowing you to tailor the bike's personality depending on whether you're commuting in the city or tearing down a racetrack. There's traction control to prevent the rear wheel from spinning out of control, slide control to keep the bike stable when cornering aggressively, launch control for perfect starts, and even wheelie control for keeping the front end in check when the power surges. Add in the quick shifter and auto blipper, and gear changes become instantaneous, seamless, and thrilling. The TFT display provides everything you need at a glance: speed, revs, lean angle, lap times, bringing a race-inspired cockpit directly into your hands. This is not just a motorcycle. It's a fully integrated racing machine made road legal. Handling is where the R1 shines just as much as its engine. Thanks to a lightweight aluminum delta box frame, fully adjustable KYB upside-down front forks, and a sophisticated rear suspension, the R1 offers precision that feels almost telepathic. Point the bike where you want it to go, and it follows with razor-sharp accuracy. On straights, the R1 feels planted, stable, and confident, even at speeds that would make most riders nervous. But it's in the corners where this bike really comes alive. Lean into a bend, and the R1 feels like it's glued to the asphalt, responding instantly to body movement. The level of feedback from the chassis is incredible. You always know exactly how much grip you have, and that confidence lets you push harder, faster, and deeper into corners. Now let's talk about the actual test ride experience. Climbing onto the Yamaha R1 is an event in itself. The riding position is aggressive. Your body leans forward, your hands grip low-set clip-ons, and your legs are tucked up tightly against the tank. It's not built for comfort. It's built for performance. When you hit the ignition, the cross-plane engine fires up with a distinctive growl that resonates deep in your chest. Rev it up, and the bike roars with a character that sends shivers down your spine. The first twist of the throttle is electrifying. The bike surges forward with ferocity, yet the power delivery is so smooth and controllable that it never feels unmanageable. On an open straight, the acceleration is mind-bending. You glance down at the speedometer, and you realize you're already doing triple-digit speeds without even trying. But what impresses most is the stability. There's no nervousness, no wobble, just pure, unwavering confidence. As you approach a corner, downshifting with the auto blipper feels effortless, the engine rev matching perfectly. Lean in, and the bike carves through the bend like a scalpel slicing through air. You roll back on the throttle, and the electronics ensure that the rear wheel hooks up seamlessly, propelling you out of the corner with explosive force. Every moment on the R1 feels like riding on a racetrack, even if you're just on a regular road. Of course, with great performance comes compromise. The R1 is not the most comfortable bike for daily commuting. The aggressive riding position can take a toll on your wrists and back during long rides. Heat from the engine is noticeable in traffic, especially on hot days. And the price, along with maintenance costs, is definitely on the higher side compared to other motorcycles. But let's be clear, the R1 isn't built to be practical. It's built to deliver an experience, an adrenaline rush that very few machines can match. If you buy an R1, you're not just buying transportation, you're buying a piece of MotoGP for yourself. Comparing the R1 to its rivals is fascinating. Honda's CBR 1000 RRR Fireblade is a precision tool with outstanding aerodynamics and race-ready engineering. Kawasaki's ZX-10R is known for its raw, aggressive power delivery and championship-winning pedigree in World SBK. Ducati's Panigale V4 dazzles with its Italian design flair and a screaming V4 engine that pushes the limits of superbike performance. Suzuki's GSX R1000 offers a balanced, approachable package for riders who want versatility. Yet the Yamaha R1 manages to stand out. Its cross-plane engine gives it a personality unlike any other. Its balance of power, handling, and advanced electronics creates a machine that feels alive in your hands. For many, the R1 is the closest you'll ever get to owning a MotoGP bike without actually racing one. Beyond the machine itself, the R1 carries immense emotional weight. It's not just about horsepower and lap times. It's about passion. Yamaha's MotoGP legacy. Icons like Valentino Rossi, Jorge Lorenzo, and Fabio Quartararo live within this bike. When you ride an R1, you feel connected to that heritage. Around the world, R1 communities thrive. Riders gather for track days, group rides, and events dedicated solely to celebrating this motorcycle. Owning an R1 is a statement. It says you're not just a rider, you're someone who craves the thrill, the challenge, and the artistry of motorcycling at its highest level. To conclude, riding the Yamaha R1 is not just an experience, it's a privilege. This motorcycle encapsulates decades of racing innovation, cutting-edge technology, and pure adrenaline into one package. From its revolutionary cross-plane engine and advanced electronics to its razor-sharp handling and aggressive design, the R1 remains a masterpiece of engineering. Yes, it has compromises in comfort and practicality, but those fade into the background the moment you open the throttle and feel the rush of MotoGP-inspired performance. So, is the Yamaha R1 still worthy of being called the King of Superbikes? Absolutely. It's more than just a title. It's a legacy that Yamaha continues to uphold with every generation. For riders who want more than just speed, who want a visceral, emotional connection to their machine, the R1 delivers like no other. Thank you for joining me on this test ride journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Superbike content. Until next time, keep riding, stay safe, and keep chasing that MotoGP sensation on two wheels. When it comes to motorcycles that have defined entire generations of riders, shaped the landscape of superbikes, and carried racing technology from the world's fastest tracks onto public roads, there are few names as iconic as the Yamaha R1. This machine is not just another leader-class motorcycle. It is a living legend, a bike that embodies Yamaha's racing spirit and continues to evolve decade after decade. Today, through this extended test ride, we will not only explore its technical specifications, history, and design, but also capture the emotions, the adrenaline, and the raw sensation that make the Yamaha R1 such a unique motorcycle. Buckle up, because this journey will not be about numbers on a spec sheet, but about what it truly feels like to ride a piece of MotoGP heritage on the street. The story of the R1 began in 1998, when Yamaha unveiled the very first YZF R1. At that time, the superbike market was already competitive, dominated by powerful but often bulky motorcycles. Yamaha had a different vision. They wanted to create a leader-class motorcycle that didn't just offer raw power, but also agility, compactness, and an experience that mirrored their racing DNA. The result was nothing short of revolutionary. The first generation R1 introduced a compact engine that allowed for a shorter wheelbase, creating handling that was unheard of in its class. Producing around 150 horsepower, it wasn't just about the numbers, it was the way it delivered that power with precision and control. From the very start, the R1 made a statement. This was not just a motorcycle, this was Yamaha rewriting the Superbike rulebook. Over the years, the R1 continued to evolve. In 2002, Yamaha refined its design, shaving weight and improving aerodynamics, proving that the R1 was not standing still but constantly chasing perfection. Then in 2004, the world saw the R1 adopt its now legendary underseat exhausts, a design choice that became an icon of early 2000 sport bikes. Riders everywhere fell in love not only with its performance but also with its aesthetic. The 2007 model kept building on this reputation, but it was in 2009 that Yamaha completely transformed the R1 and shocked the industry once again. That year, the R1 became the first production superbike to adopt the cross-plane crankshaft, a technology lifted directly from Yamaha's MotoGP prototype, the YZR M1. This was more than just an update. It was a revolution in how a superbike felt, sounded, and behaved. When it comes to motorcycles that have defined entire generations of riders, shaped the landscape of superbikes, and carried racing technology from the world's fastest tracks onto public roads, there are few names as iconic as the Yamaha R1. This machine is not just another leader-class motorcycle. It is a living legend, a bike that embodies Yamaha's racing spirit and continues to evolve decade after decade. Today, through this extended test ride, we will not only explore its technical specifications, history, and design, but also capture the emotions, the adrenaline, and the raw sensation that make the Yamaha R1 such a unique motorcycle. Buckle up, because this journey will not be about numbers on a spec sheet, but about what it truly feels like to ride a piece of MotoGP heritage on the street. The story of the R1 began in 1998, when Yamaha unveiled the very first YZF R1. At that time, the superbike market was already competitive, dominated by powerful but often bulky motorcycles. Yamaha had a different vision. They wanted to create a leader-class motorcycle that didn't just offer raw power, but also agility, compactness, and an experience that mirrored their racing DNA. The result was nothing short of revolutionary. The first generation R1 introduced a compact engine that allowed for a shorter wheelbase, creating handling that was unheard of in its class. Producing around 150 horsepower, it wasn't just about the numbers, it was the way it delivered that power with precision and control. From the very start, the R1 made a statement. This was not just a motorcycle, this was Yamaha rewriting the Superbike rulebook. Over the years, the R1 continued to evolve. In 2002, Yamaha refined its design, shaving weight and improving aerodynamics, proving that the R1 was not standing still but constantly chasing perfection. Then in 2004, the world saw the R1 adopt its now legendary underseat exhausts, a design choice that became an icon of early 2000 sport bikes. Riders everywhere fell in love not only with its performance